not, there's some benefits to having it be recorded ahead of time.
For sure. Perfect. Chris, what's happening?
Josh, hey Josh.
I'm fired up, dude.
What's up? Thanks, dude. Me too. Let's do this.
Okay, so we were talking earlier today, and you said you're on a soapbox, man. Give me a little background information. What's happening?
Okay. The biggest challenge I think any business has. It doesn't have to be a challenge. It could even be your goal, but wanting to increase your income or scale your business, grow your business. I was talking to one of my clients today who has a database of 5,000 people, which is huge, it's ginormous. He owns Nashville. And the challenge with he's highly successful in what he does. And in fact, we were looking at his numbers. I have him tracking his numbers, and 10% of his leads came from his database. So 10% of his leads, he had over 1,789 leads in the last 10 months, and 10% of those were from his database. Now, close to 60%, I think 57% of his closed business for the year came from that 10% of leads from his database. So there's a huge disproportionate, disproportionate smaller number of leads from his database make up the majority of his closed business.
All right, so simple question, right? How do you get more of that database to give you more business?
That was the thing we looked at, right? We're like, dude, if you put half of the effort, half the money that you spend on these other things into engaging your existing database, your business could double, quadruple in a short amount of time, because the conversion is so much easier from people that you know and have a relationship with to close business. It's just a lot easier business. You can scale so much faster when there's relationship involved.
So here's the thing. This is the dichotomy. You just said it's so easier to convert that and get more business, and yet why don't people do it? And I would argue because it takes work. So what's the difference between that work easy thing? And first of all, let me ask you, what are people doing right now wrong? What are they doing wrong? How are they missing it?
I think it's before you even get to the work, you have to come from like a certain perspective. You got to like get how this thing works. When you get human behavior and who we are as human beings, I don't care what era or decade we're in. I don't care if it's 2014 or 1814. At the end of the day, we're human beings, and technology serves us as human beings, not the other way around. So it's interesting to watch this, because I think we're coming out of this honeymoon with technology as a society where it's no longer about search, and we're not enamored with that anymore. Now we're craving connection. We're craving people. And in fact, if you look at supply and demand, there's a high supply of information, which means there's a low demand for information. But there's also a low supply of connection, which means there's a high demand for what? Connection. So when we start figuring out how to use, your question is, so what do we do? What's the difference? Like, how do we do this? How do we go to work in this?
Well, Chris, let me ask you this, man. I'm a fitness professional. I'm building my business. I want to get that quick business. I want to expand it, grow, get paid. What am I, as the majority, doing wrong right this second?
I think you're chasing the wrong things. You're doing a whole bunch of Facebook posts, but you're not engaging anybody on Facebook. Is that clear?
Tell me that. Yeah. Well, so making a bunch of Facebook posts versus engaging people, what's the difference?
Yeah, I think we hear things like, oh, we got to be on Facebook. So we'll do things like we'll post a picture or a quote, or we'll say something about our life, and so it's just this one-directional monologue out to the world. That's what people do right now.
Got it. Now we got it.
Right? Hey, I had this for dinner. Hey, I'm doing this tomorrow. Hey, I just did this. And we're all broadcasting what we're doing, which is fine. That's great. That's the first step. Josh, let me say it this way. For the last 3 years that I've been really, really honing in like my internet knowledge and how to do things on the internet, from Facebook ads to YouTube, all that stuff, I have been a social media voyeur for the last 3 years. Right? And that's my confession. Like, I'd love to sit here in front of everybody and just say I have it all together and I know everything I'm doing, but the reality is I've been sitting here watching what everybody posts, and every now and then I'll like it, but my typical behavior every day was to scroll through the Facebook feed and see what people are saying, and that was it.
So you're one of those Facebook creepers.
Yeah, I'm a Facebook creeper, right?
Hey,
Yeah.
as long as I don't see like you liking pictures from some spring break 2012, we're good.
Yeah, I mean, that would be a little weird if I'm going back in your timeline to really figure out, like, oh, Josh. Yeah, that's creepy. That's a real creeper. But
So
look, here's the thing. So look, the thing is, um, I would say probably, I had this aha moment from a couple things. I think one book that was really good was Gary Vaynerchuk's Jab, 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 Right Hook book. So I think people should read that. I also think Seth Godin has picked up on this with the connection economy stuff that he talks about. So you guys should read that. Um, but my aha moment was I keep watching people, and if what there is to do is to build a tribe is to engage, then what that means is to comment on people's stuff. Don't just look at it and like it, but comment on it. And when you start commenting on it, what happens is a conversation happens. You said something, I commented on it, then you say something back to me, and now we have a conversation. That's engagement.
And through that engagement, and as you're commenting on that other person's stuff, that's building that underlying trust and rapport. And let's just flip the roles. You know, think about whenever you make a post and somebody likes it. That makes you feel good. But how do you feel when somebody actually comments on your post?
Right.
Changes
That's
everything.
Right. Changes everything. It changes everything. And look, and that is the key to a tribe. So back to my client I'm talking to today, right? If he were able to actually engage, meaning have conversation with or have a dialogue ongoingly digitally with his 5,000 people, that would be incredible. He would own Nashville even more than he does now. So I guess here's my takeaway. My takeaway is we need to, if you want to build a business in a way that's easier, what you need to do is create relationship with people. That is ultimately how that's going to happen. If you want to create relationship with people digitally through social media platforms, Facebook would be the monster of them all. So eliminate everything else and just do Facebook because that's where most people are anyway. Then what it would look like is you start participating in other people's posts. Post your own stuff, that's fine, but you're not going to get engagement on your stuff until you build relationship with other people with their stuff. Does that make sense?
And the more you talk about other people, the more they love you for it. Because guess who the biggest fan of Josh Rogers is? Josh Rogers, baby. And guess who the only person I care about and I want to talk about? It's me.
Yeah.
And so if you talk about me, I'm going to love you for it. And so we got to fight that natural tendency, right?
Yeah.
And as we do that, and as I share with everybody that I talk to, I said, if you're talking the most in a conversation, you're talking too much. You need to be quiet, and you need to start asking questions, talk about the person. Now you're just saying, do this over the social media platform.
Yeah. Yeah, I would tell you I haven't figured this out fully, so I'm not saying this from a perspective of, hey, I'm a guru and I have it figured out. What I'm saying is I've seen what I've been doing wrong for 3 years in terms of posting my own stuff and then watching what everybody else has to say rather than engaging everybody in a conversation, right? Find what, here's a funny one. The other day, there's a guy out of Spokane who is a partner in a business called Beard Brand, and they're going to be on Shark Tank tomorrow on Friday. They're going to be on Shark Tank. They have these big old beards, and they have this oil for your beards and stuff. And it was interesting because I was like, this guy is such a great business guy, and I like how he thinks. I like who he is, and I just have like not paid attention. How weird is that? I see his billboards around town, and I just never like pinged him on Facebook and said, hey, what's up? Like, what are you up to? So I did. The other day I did, and sure enough, here he is. He's an investor in this company or whatever, and I got to kind of like talk with him. I didn't have to pick up the phone. I could do it through Facebook, and it was awesome. It was a great exchange.
So let me ask you, I mean, it's such an easy solution when you put your finger on it. Why aren't people doing this?
Well, I think the first thing is we're just in a pattern. We're in our own patterns, and like I was for 3 years of just with my thumb, I just go through and I see stuff and I like stuff, and that's the pattern. So that's the first thing. The second thing is I think we're so addicted to, we're drunk on the right hook of telling people about what we have to offer and what we do that we're not used to just going out and then sharing on talking about other people's stuff with them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. In fact, I heard once, I heard a mentor of mine in the past once say, money doesn't change you, it just exposes you. Some people are afraid of money. They're like, money's going to change me. Money doesn't change you, it just exposes you. So if you're a bad person and you have more money, you just get to be a bigger person. If you're a generous person and you have more money, you get to be a more generous person. I think it's similar with technology. Technology, when you get technology and the purpose it serves, and you embrace it, it can allow you to be that. So if you're a connector and you like connecting with people, I'm a connector. But for 3 years, I've just sort of been in a fog about how do I use technology. When I finally figured this out, look, this was recently. In fact, a lot of you watching this, I'm in the beginning of this. And my goal here is to have a conversation with you. I don't want to just post stuff like television and have you watch it. I actually want to have a conversation with you. So as I'm asking for comments, it's been a slow ride in the last couple of weeks. Not many of you are commenting on stuff. But my hope is that you'll start to comment so that I can answer it and add value. And now we have a dialogue. But I think as a connector, technology now, I get it. Technology can serve me in my connection. And I can connect better with people that way. But if I don't understand that, then I won't do it. Oh, that was a rabbit trail from my first point, Josh, which is I think prior to technology, when we didn't have that, it's funny because a lot of people don't listen. They don't ask questions and they don't listen well, just in life. Have you experienced that?
All the time.
All the time. So here's my point. Technology just exposes who you are. If you don't listen in real life and you don't ask questions and really care in real life, technology just exposes that. You're not going to do it in a social media platform if you don't do it in real life.
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're right. Okay, so how can we take action right after this live event? How can we take action right now? What does that mean when on our social media platforms, what we're saying, who we're saying it to, and also the posts that we're making? Give us something tangible.
Yeah, the first thing is you already have stuff showing up in your news feed every day. And let's just use Facebook as the example for social engagement. Start commenting on people's stuff. Talk to them. Don't comment like, just talk to them. Treat it like a conversation. They said, hey, this is what I had for breakfast. Talk back to them. How was that? Like, have you ever tried it with this? Like, I had bacon for breakfast. That's awesome. Have you ever, like, where do you get your bacon? Silly example, but that's exactly what I'm talking about. So hang up this, stop watching this thing, go to your Facebook feed, and on the first 5 posts you see, add a comment.
Hey, Chris, how about this? Because you've done this to me, and I love it. And so now I've adopted it. I'm doing it with everybody. I always either use their first name or their initials. So whenever I comment under somebody's feed, I'll either use their first name or their initials. And sometimes when somebody uses my initials, like JR, hey, crush it, that looks awesome today. It brings us closer rather than just making a comment. So That's something I've been doing, and I love it.
Yes, actually use the name. I even like the name because what it does then is as long as you're friends, which it should be if it's showing up your newsfeed, it'll tag them. Like when they log in, they'll have that little red alert thing, and that when I get those, I feel good. I'm like, oh, somebody said something about me, or there's a notice for me about something, and it's good. It's positive emotional reinforcement.
Yes, and it brings you front of mind.
That is the action plan. We stop watching this. If for every day, just go comment on 5 people's posts, okay? Then I think when you start getting dialogue and then you start doing some posts, you'll start to see more engagement on your posts because you've built a community. This isn't a broadcasting tool. This is a communication tool.
Yeah, you love it. The other thing that comes to mind is every say 3 posts or so, I always like to post a question. And in my eyes, if whatever I post doesn't end with a question mark, then it's not good enough. And that really provokes that engagement. Today I just asked people, what's your favorite steak and the style cut? It has nothing to do with anything, but you know what? I think it has probably 50 engaging posts and dialogue because people like talking about themselves, and this gives them that platform. What do you think about that?
Yep, I agree. I totally agree. You go back to, I know you're running short on time, but let me just, we go back to our previous hangout about wine and building a niche market, an outreach plan around a specific point of interest that people care about or are passionate about, all of a sudden those Facebook posts start to get pretty interesting. Like you take that for that steak, your cut of steak. You say, hey guys, what's your favorite cab? What's your favorite Merlot? When you can get engagement with a very specific group of people, now you've got fuel on the fire for conversation and engagement.
Perfect. Love it. Okay. Comment below. Engage with us. Let's have a dialogue. Everybody watching this, comment below. Just say, hey, we're doing dialogue right now. Let us know what you like, what you don't like, and questions about how to thrive and build that community and tribe.
Yes, that's what we'll do, and we'll answer that. I want to answer that for you. So we want to talk about that. So, Josh, thanks for all your great questions, and we'll hit you up next time.
Yeah, you got it. Power to the people.
To the people. See ya.